CNBC-TV18, embarking on a quarter century of excellence.
Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Private equity firm ChrysCapital has acquired a 75% stake in ProHance Analytics, a B2B SaaS platform offering workforce analytics and operations enablement. Now, the investment marks ChrysCapital's foray into the growing Indian SaaS ecosystem, valued at over $12 billion. With ChrysCapital's acquisition, ProHance aims to build and strategically expand into important markets. The founders and existing senior leadership of ProHance will continue to be a part of the acquired unit. Joining us now to discuss the deal contours are Akshat Babar, the MD of ChrysCapital, and Ankur Dhingra, the CEO of ProHance. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. Akshat, let me come to you first. ChrysCapital has acquired 75% stake in ProHance. So how much did you buy this stake for, and what was the rationale behind this acquisition? Why ProHance?
Hi, first of all, good evening, and thank you for having me on your show. We have acquired a 75% stake in ProHance, that's correct. We haven't officially announced the numbers, but I can give you an indicative guidance that it is around the mark that you talked about, the $50 million mark. We have been tracking the SaaS space in India for quite a few years, and we have explored a lot of opportunities. We like ProHance. We thought it befitted our first investment in this space. It's a very fast-growing company, extremely strong unit economics, operating in a exciting space, fast-growing but under-penetrated space, and last but not the least, being run by a very high-quality management team, led by, of course, Ankur, as well as the two original founders of the company, Kishore and Rajesh.
Right.
So we liked all of that, and after we did all our work, we got very strong feedback from their customers, and it culminated into our first SaaS transaction.
So those are the reasons that you've acquired ProHance. Now, Ankur, if I could bring you into the conversation as well. ProHance is a workplace analytics and operations management platform, and you provide insights to enterprises and SMEs. So if you could quickly tell us about what it is you have on offer, how are you making operations easier and bringing in efficiency, and what does the ChrysCapital backing mean to you?
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. So essentially, we think about operations, and for your viewers, I'll say operations, one part of operations are contact centers, which all of us really understand. But there's a big part of operations, which we call transaction processing or case management. So this is everything which is non-phone, claims, setup, chargeback, maintenance, disputes. So that is the kind of operations we provide a lot of visibility and actionable intelligence in. In the last 2 decades, immense improvement has been made in the contact center technology. But if you think about the non-contact center world, that has been lagging in terms of the right technology to manage those operations.
Right.
And I think with ChrysCap on board, what we really get is really a marquee investor who understands this space really well. There's a big intersection of customers we have and customers which ChrysCap has been, or their portfolio companies. So we are definitely looking at their market reach to expand our offering. And also we are looking at the productivity space in a more broader sense, So while we are currently focused on desk-based workers, there's a lot of opportunity on field force workers. There's a lot of opportunity to look at productivity on mobile devices. So the idea is to see if there's an opportunity for us to tuck in and do more acquisitions that really build this into a leading productivity play.
All right. And Akshat, this, as you told us, this acquisition marks ChrysCapital's entry into India's SaaS market. What makes this sector so attractive for you? How big of an opportunity is this? And any other SaaS companies on your radar at this point?
SaaS has been a very fast-growing space for a while globally, if you look at it, and it's created a lot of value for private equity investors globally. So the question that was always asked for the longest time is, why is India lagging behind? Especially if you see the kind of success India or Indian companies have had in the technology services space. And that is why we've been tracking this space very closely. And we think the time is right for the Indian SaaS ecosystem to now grow at hit an inflection point and grow very rapidly from here. As you rightly pointed out earlier, the space today is quite large, at about $12 billion. But if you look at it in a global context, it barely scratches the surface. Indian SaaS penetration globally would be barely around 5-6%. We're taking a view that it's going to move up rapidly and get to over 10% over the next 5 years. With the global SaaS industry itself being a fast-growing market, the Indian ecosystem should grow even faster. And this will throw up a lot of companies that continue to scale well. And we have our eyes on a few of them, but we'll be thoughtful in who we back. Given we make limited investments, we make big but limited investments, and expect ChrysCapital to make more, deploy more dollars in this space in the years to come.
All right, so more dollars in the SaaS space in India. Well, Ankur, with this, ProHance hopes to enter new markets like Philippines, Australia, and South America. If you could quickly tell us about demand and also what have your revenues been? What's profitability looking like?
So to answer your second question first, we've kind of been growing at 70% for the last 5 years. One of the unique things about us is we've not only had a healthy revenue growth, we've also been profitable all along. So till the time ChrysCap bought a stake into us, we had essentially bootstrapped ourselves. So our unit economics, like Akshat mentioned, are very strong. We do north of 30% EBITDA margins, and we maintain that EBITDA profile as we've grown. In terms of market, we have a pretty strong presence in India and we started presence in the US and the Philippines. But on the radar are markets like UK, Australia, Canada, South, Africa. So all English-speaking markets are our first port of call. And then from there, we'll build into other markets, serving other languages like Spanish, Japanese, and Chinese.
Right. And what's your top performing geography at this point? What's the revenue mix like?
India, we kind of born out of India, built in India. So India is our leading geography right now. But these things do get, there are a lot of overlaps in these areas. They could be US headquartered companies which have bought the product in India. But the short answer is India is a leading geography, followed by US and then Philippines.
All right. Yeah, please continue.
No. And the revenue mix is India is around 70% of our business today.
All right. So India is around 70% of your business. Akshat, Ankur, we're completely out of time, but thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right. With that, it's a wrap from Ritu, Arundhati, and me, Shruti, on this edition of Startup Street. More news and updates coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.
CNBC-TV18, embarking on a quarter century